Hello, hello. So I wanted to make a Patreon only post. I've been doing a lot of contemplation since my mom was here. She was here for 8 days. It was the longest amount of time that I've spent with her. It was the longest amount of time that my kids have ever spent with her since I was in my early 20s. So it was it was an interesting experience, to say the least. It went really well on the surface. It went really well on the surface. And everything, by all appearances, was really great. And yet, there was just this undercurrent vibrationally, energetically, that I hadn't felt since childhood. And it was this cognitive dissonance that everything appeared to look so amazing and so great. And yet, under the surface, there was this discontent, this judgment, this needing for me to be different than who I am, to convert me, right? And so I told my mom this visit pretty much that I'm a pagan and that I worship the goddess, or that I believe that, female goddess energy created everything. And for me to speak that to her, who she very much is still trying to convert me back to the church, was so neutral. It was so neutral for me. There was not this, I was getting a little passionate about what I was saying, just because I did want to be heard, but I also knew that no matter what I said, it wasn't going to be heard in a way. And so I just said my where I am beliefs in this moment, my unravelings, my thought processes of where everything is coming from and how it's unraveling, really. And it was not received well, in the fact that she went, okay, let's change the subject. She realized that, it's she's not going to convert me or convince me or be able to tell me how to live my life anymore. And in that aspect, it was really liberating to step out from underneath my mother's shadow. And as the throat chakra is such a masculine chakra, it is about taking action, speaking, being assertive. It's such the masculine qualities and characteristics. Me really asserting my own masculine aspects of, this is my beliefs, these are what I do, this is what I know from research, these are the things that I find true, and this is what I am doing. And there was this point in our conversation. Oh, Lori, you're here. Let's see, where are you? Hello. Okay, let me see if I can invite Lori to the chat. Oops. Let's see. I know there's a way to do this. Invite. Lori. Okay, let's see. I'm not super great at learning how to utilize all of this. Okay. So as I was sharing, as she calls it, my heart with her. Um, so much came up as to I grew up in the church, which truly needed me to be something other than what I am. And anybody that grew up in the church may find this to be true for themselves. There's this innate unworthiness that you are not worthy without God's acceptance and love. And that message is so traumatic because really it's a matter of only those who have accepted Jesus into their heart are worthy. And and even then, there's so much guilt and shame and unworthiness. And so having my mom here really showed me so clearly that she so needs the approval of others. And she so needs to be seen as something other than she is, that she creates this image of being a good Christian woman. And yet so many conversations rely around like she's a Trump supporter, and so her money for taxes shouldn't go to those certain things. And she'll go and make up bags for people in other countries of food and send them across the world, but doesn't necessarily want to get involved with, like, doesn't believe that people should be on food stamps. So it's a very interesting and cognitive dissonance in this aspect that we should feed the poor and take care of the lonely and the widowed and the father, the children, the orphans, and yet there is none of that. And in their language, they don't believe any of that. And so it's just, there was so much cognitive dissonance happening of hearing her words and feeling energetically fully, because I was matching her vibration in order to connect with her, because that's how we connect with people. We energetically and vibrationally either lower or higher our own vibration to connect. And so 8 days of being in that vibrational space was very similar. My inner child knew that vibration so well. My inner child knew that feeling so well. And I hadn't had an experience, nor had I wanted to have the experience to recreate that. And so it was brought to my doorstep, literally, in a plane by my mom. And I find that it's such a gift. It was such a gift to really see fully this aspect that I am not my mother. I am not my mother's child anymore. I am this pagan woman. And for me to even say that I'm a pagan has taken me the past 13 years, like 14 years, 15 years. Like, it's taken me a long time. And I pushed that label away for a long time. But when I looked at that a pagan is just not a Christian, I went, yes, that is true. I am not a Christian. I am not that anymore. And I can accept the label of being a pagan. And really, being my word for the year was stepping into the priestess. And so if I'm going to step into the priestess, I have to step out of what is no longer serving me. And that is being labeled something that I'm not. And so speaking that truth to my mother, of all people, she is the one that is the ultimate judger, condemner, convictor in our family. My dad has passed. My grandmother has passed, so she's the matriarch, and she holds that role very tightly. And I was at peace with it. I was so neutral with it. There was just this unending vibrational ripple effect that happened when I fully stepped in and said, this is what I believe. This is who I am. There is no more converting me. There is no more of you thinking that there is a possibility for me. And it felt releasing, and yet the wave of all of the buildup came after she left. And there was a lot of just, oh my God, what just happened? Oh my, wow. I was interrogated and I didn't say the words she wanted to hear. And I was okay with that. There was a blessing in that for myself. Like I gave myself the blessing. So often in the Bible and in the scripture, the blessing has to come from a parent. And my magical self, it's like, gave me the blessing to be fully me. I didn't need that blessing from her any longer. And the freedom and the liberty of that was so huge because I spoke my truth. I have I was able to, even though a little excitedly, share with her why I don't agree with the church for their genocidal reasons and other aspects. It was very clear. And I was very okay with this aspect. And so, as this really came to light, there was so much joy. Uh, I'm changing the Discord because I think I made it private. So let's see if that works. So as my journey continues to unravel, I love seeing how the universe puts these things together literally 3 weeks before Goddess Camp. She is at my door. I'm having Goddess Camp. Like, oh my goddess, I'm having Goddess Camp. And I was just able to share with my mother that I'm a pagan. And it was so liberating. And it's really neat because there's women coming to the camp who are Mormon, who are Christian, who are lost, who are looking for a woman-based community to just be accepted. That does not have the condemnation and the conversion needed that is available right now. And so there's this aspect of the time has come. Fully, I see it, I know it. For me, it was radically transparent that she came out here for me to speak my truth. And she even said, I came out here to find out where we stand, because I want to know all the ways in which I harmed you and made you feel not enough. And I said, you did the best you can, and you are a great mom. You are a great grandmother. You are a fantastic mom. You have always done your best, and I love you for that. We live in a world that prioritizes consumerism, capitalism, and superficial things as success. And that is the culture that we were raised in, and you did your best according to what you have always known. And that was what I left it. And I shared with her that whatever it is that she thinks is happening, and whatever my journey is with her, my journey is about my journey. And if she is a catalyst for any of it, it's still my journey. And it really has nothing to do with her. It has everything to do with me because it's my journey. So if there's things, your children, your parents, your work, if there's things that are triggering you and you're pointing the finger at them saying, you are causing this in my life, I want to offer you the liberating joy of flipping that around and really seeing that these people in your life are simply illuminating aspects within yourself that are time to change. and time to look at, and the ability to get to a space where you can either speak your truth just to yourself. Again, this has taken me 6 years. We've had so many interrogation conversations where my mom asked me what I believed, and I skirted around the God topic and really, tried to help her think that I was still a Christian. And I didn't do that this time. I really spoke my truth and shared with her what is for me. And there's a Christian camp that we go to in Kings Canyon National Park in California. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous camp. It's called Hume Lake. We stay in the public campgrounds, but I've worked at the Christian camp there. It's an amazing space. And there's a sign, a big, giant wooden sign next to the lake, and it says, God is. And then you look, and there's this picturesque view of the lake, this giant lake with all of Kings Canyon behind it, and the woods and the forest. And it's just amazing. Sometimes the lake is full of kayakers and kids, and sometimes the lake is just serene and beautiful on its own. Sometimes there's ducks or fish jumping out. And I said, Mom, that's what God is to me. And if anything, she was able to understand that. But more than anything, there's this aspect that God has to be this masculine energy. In God, we trust is on our money. Like, in order to use the money, it's a God-derived money system. And so there's this aspect of really allowing for myself to realize my own truth. And when I discovered and I really heard that goddess culture was a thing, and it is real, and it's still relevant today by the fact that we call our Mother Earth. There's this aspect of really knowing that the only women, the only beings I've ever seen give birth are women. And it didn't register to me. It's very much like Zeus pulling Athena out of his head. And this story took 300 years of saying it every night to the people, that Athena was born from Zeus's head. This is how they programmed everybody. So look at our programming, look at Netflix, look at our movies, look at superheroes and God and masculinity and war culture. It's inundated in every movie and every cartoon and every video game. And excuse me, my heart is ready for the balance of goddess culture. My heart is ready to create that sacred space here. And so, in what way or in what capacity are you waking up and creating space for your own truth to be heard? Who needs to hear this truth for you to be heard? And not that they listen, not that they agree, not that you convert them. Just, in what capacity do you need to say it out loud? In what capacity does your voice need to be heard? And if it's in this group, put a time and a date down and make a video so that we can join you and hear you. Do that, please, because that is what this space is about. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining in. We'll have another Patreon only chat where I am hopefully not the only one talking next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central. So that's noon Pacific. So I hope that you can be there. I'm looking forward to it.